Welcome, Aries. Welcome to your tarot spread. I've done a little meditation to meditate on the energy of Aries this morning. I'm just lighting some smoke to bring myself into this liminal space. I always use smoke, particularly Palo Santo. We'll do a little into the space. All right, Aries. So in the pre-meditation, I got an image of these wings of protection, and the wings were like not too tightly wrapped. It was about like holding the wings, your own self-protection, with still giving yourself space to breathe and to move. You don't want to hold on too tight and restrict. So this is about having shields up, but not having the shield be so tight around you that you constrict your own energy and essence and abilities. So it's letting the shield do the work. Once the shield is up, letting the shield actually do the work without restricting yourself and being too uptight. So it's about communicating the needs clearly and relaxed with the expectation that you will be respected. So you've got these boundaries up and you need to clearly articulate that that you have a shield up for a certain reason. You just need to, like, the advice in this meditation this morning is, sorry, my distractions. The advice in the meditation is to communicate it with the expectation that you will be respected, not from a place of defense, but from a place of, trusting the relationship or trusting the best outcome from your sharing and communicating what you need. Oops. So it's like everything's not out to get you. So it's just like, don't overdo the shield. The shield is valid and protective, but you don't need to overdo it. And I got the song, a Bon Jovi song, and it was You Give Love a Bad Name. The lyric is, shot through the heart, you're to blame, darling, you give love a bad name. And I'm wondering, Aries, is that the, like, what you're protecting from, or is that potentially, your own behaviors or your own actions? So I haven't really got clarity on whether that's you or someone that you're protecting yourself from. I kind of feel like it's more to do with what that whole protection mechanism is about. Let's coconut water. So we're going to pull some tarot from the She-Wolf Tarot deck to go along with this meditation and message. So for Aries, to support this meditation, what are they protecting on? What is the shield up against? What is the advice on how to manage and work with this potential to over restrict or over tense up, to have the body be physically tense from trying to protect itself? So we have the Hanged Being, and the Hanged Being, we can see it as a way of needing to change perspective, but it is also a surrendering and a letting go to the situation. There's a pause. It's like a pause when we're about to let go, so that it's kind of like a necessary stop. I don't know if that's in focus. Yeah, it's necessary and almost forced to stop in tracks. So something's maybe on its way out, getting ready to leave the situation. And so there's this needing for a surrender, to stand where you are and look at things from a different perspective. And so we've got the Two of Swords here. So there's these two frames of mind going on. That's the two perspectives. Or there could be more, but there's this duality going on of approach. How am I going to think about this thing? Like, how do I you know, or a decision like, do I go further in? Do I go further out? So if it is to do with a relationship of some type, you might be some sort of indecisive about whether you're going to go back in for another round or you're going to leave and go out. So that's where the pause is coming from, needing to like get this other perspective. And we have the divine feminine coming through. So this is the Empress card. So the Empress is all about, you know, abundance and fertility and harvest. It's a time for harvest. It's a time to gather our rewards. But the Empress is very in tune with nature and animals, very in touch with, you know, what helps the ground be fertile and grow, and you know, where things are growing. So I wonder, with this Empress card, you know, is it a question of can things grow? Like, are you able to grow in the conditions that you've been in within this relationship? You know, when we put it together with this need for protection and this like kind of like a windbreaker, if you think about it in sort of like a garden sense, and, you know, you don't want to restrict how the nourishment flows. So if there's any restrictions, or, you know, even things at the wrong timing or out of cycles. So, you know, Divine Feminine Empress is all about being in tune with cycles and when the timing is right, and knowing, you know, when to harvest, knowing when to plant, knowing when to replenish the soil, knowing, you know, working with the moon cycles, putting what's right in the ground at the right time. And we have the Ace of Pentacles. So the Ace of Pentacles is looking for this, well, it's really like something fresh that comes in terms of, you know, education or finances or a business opportunity. It's something where we can grow. It's material realm based. So with the Ace of Pentacles, we're gaining some type of new resource that's coming into the picture, which might support us. So, you know, if you need some type of boost with resources, or you're looking for that, one big thing about the aces is that, you know, you need to have space in order for the ace to appear. So this hanged being, which provides a surrender and a pause, they're hanging upside down and sort of waiting. So something, in some ways, like there has to be a break in the waves before the Ace of Pentacles can land. So if the Ace of Pentacles is the wave, the hanged being is like the ebb of the wave before the break, before the flow. So let's have a look at a challenge for Aries at the moment. The Six of Pentacles and the Page of Wands is the challenge for Aries at the moment. So the Six of Pentacles, reciprocity, you know, it's karmic payment. It's a karmic story. And it's having things to be in balance. It's things coming back into balance financially, but being able to accept help, or accept the help that you've given in the past, or even to help others, you know, if we've received help in the past. It's keeping those doors open to be able to support from a stable place. And with the Page of Wands, we're looking at like, what is this next step to take? So with this being the challenge, Aries, you might be actually needing to have some support, or to allow, like, be open to this reciprocity. So this is, you know, when we're thinking about the message earlier and having those shields up and having the shields too tight and like self-limiting, if you just relax and allow the shields to be up for the right things, to allow the right things to come through, to not block everything. The shields are up to block the thing that they are dedicated to blocking, and you can still let and allow through what needs to be allowed through, which can support you. So it's like not blocking everything out. or not blocking your own steps forward with the Page of Wands. So if you're, you know, maybe you have an opportunity to receive something that can support you, you might be challenged to take that step, but the challenge is in taking the step, taking the offer, hearing the message. So what is the strength for Aries at this time? A strength for Aries which will help Aries to open up and to receive and to allow and trust the shield. We've got another card for Aries, or shall we pull a animal spirit guide? The Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands is your ability, Aries, to stand by your convictions and what you believe in. So you're going to hold your ground. Your strength is that you can hold your ground. The strength is that, you know, the shield is in place, and you're going to make, you know, decisions which protect what you believe in and what you have faith in. Let's do an animal spirit. Aries, an animal spirit for Aries. And we have the cosmic egg for Aries. Let's read from the book for the cosmic egg. Okay. Completion, harmony, the infinite within the finite. The cosmic egg is the final card in the journey of the animal spirit deck, and it represents the unfolding of cosmic consciousness. The state emerges after we have tread the path for quite some time, and through self-effort and grace we experience self-realization. A sense of contentment and oneness spontaneously arises within us, and the veils of our self-limiting beliefs are lifted. When the essence of the cosmic egg has not been activated, we may feel as if we will never get there, or that we travel alone, disconnected from others. Even if our encounter with this card is brief, appearing as a momentary glimmer or flash of interconnectedness, its potent energy stays with us. The cosmic egg is a remedy for the fragmentation of modern life. It's through the power of this card that we are reminded of the cosmic contract written at the beginning. We hold on to life. And life holds on to us. The journey is complete, but it does not end. And the cosmic egg is the 7th chakra, related to the 7th chakra. So that's the crown. The subtle essence of the cosmic egg resides at the crown chakra at the top of the head, called the Sahasrara. I never say this right. I've never learned how to say these properly. Sahasrara. Sahasrara. One of the aims of yoga and meditation practice is to channel energy from the base of the spine upwards towards the Sahasrara. Each of the 6 lower chakras plays an important role along this journey, and once the final epicenter of consciousness is activated, it is said to radiate the light of 1,000,000 suns. So that's beautiful. So there's an important lesson here. There's some important summation of self-realization through this journey that you've been on. And that can be hard to step into that next zone. Or step into that next iteration. With the Two of Swords, I I should also say, you know, that if this is about a relationship, it doesn't necessarily mean that the relationship is coming to an end. So that's with the Two of Swords. You know, you're gonna make a decision about whether you're in or you're out, or this person is welcome or they're not welcome. There's a shield up for a period of time. It could be a divine feminine counterpart, or it could be, you know, part of your self-realization to connect with that divine feminine essence as the Empress, and to help nurture and nourish a relationship, to help a garden grow. But you're going to stick by, either way, your strength is your ability to stick with your convictions and to live by your word and what you value and have faith in. I did get the Two of Cups, and it appears to have come in reverse. So this is another deck. This is a Serpent Fire deck. We've got the Two of Cups there. So the Two of Cups, traditionally, it is about a union, or like two parties intertwining, a relationship developing. But being in reverse, there could be a block there with this relationship forming, or whether or not it's still the right relationship to be in, or maybe it has to evolve and change in how it's presenting, with the Hanged being looking at that change of perspective, or that surrender moment. Let's pull another card from the Serpent Fire. And with that challenges, the challenge of the Six of Pentacles, is there support, financial support from within the relationship? Or are you looking for an out because there isn't financial support? Maybe there's a challenge with sharing resources or distributing the weight of, you know, bills and responsibilities, and maybe that's, you know, stepping out the door. The Page of Wands could be wanting to leave, wanting to step out the door because things aren't even. Maybe that Ace of Pentacles could be like there's, you know, it's so early on in the development of things. Maybe the resources within the unit are struggling to move on from that first point, or maybe they've sort of stalled, or they're held back right at the beginning, and it's hard to imagine what can grow from it if, you know, there's not a balanced reciprocity financially. What is the environment of the situation for Aries? What is their environment looking like? What's happening around them? We've got the Four of Pentacles. So the Four of Pentacles being a little bit of frugality and a little bit of holding on to things. So this could go back to that picture of the shield with the wings. And the Four of Pentacles is kind of holding on to things, or holding things steady for a minute. So there's not a lot of flow going on with the financial status. So the flow could be impacted. So it could be your expectations around money as well. So yeah, there could be like this reading, it's definitely about, you know, a relationship, but it's tied to money as well and tied to finances and this situation around how those things are intertwined, or how a relationship can go forward based on the financial or material status of the relationship. And sometimes there is, you know, relationships will influence one another in different ways, and different people have different electromagnetic connections. And so like with one partner or one person, or in a business relationship, or with a family member, it's like anybody in any relationship, you may have, you know, a flow between you which helps to amplify money, or in some cases it might block money or be a challenge to do with money. So it may not be you that has the block, it could be with this partnership. We have the King of Swords popping out as well. So the King of Swords, we're looking at hopes and fears here. What are the hopes and fears with the King of Swords? The King of Swords, so the hopes and fears with this king is that we can be a bit too brutal. This king can be brutal, a bit cold, a little bit unemotional in some sense. The king of Swords particularly can be overly intellectualizing or looking at things from an intellectual perspective rather than an emotional perspective. So that could be required. That could be the situation with this Hanged Man and what's coming in. We're looking at things from the King of Swords, and that's concerning. Like, are we happy with making a decision that's purely intellectual, and, you know, without softening into the divine feminine role, which is, you know, got to do with give and take and yield, like knowing when to seed and knowing when to harvest, knowing what the cycles are. But as the potential outcome, we have the Ace of Cups. So there is hope, there is potential that there will be a new deepening or a new opening of emotional fulfillment either within this relationship or within another one, if you choose to. If the decision lands and what is right is to depart, if standing by your convictions means to end the relationship with the Two of Cups in reverse, and to take that cycle of completion with the cosmic egg there, then you could be open to something on the horizon which, you know, sprouts a new opening. And again, it connects with the meditation that, you know, you let the shield you from what you need it to shield you from, but don't let it constrict or restrict you. Don't allow it to impact your physical body and become uptight and stiff, and sore, and, you know what I mean, like shitty to be around. Maintain that openness, but it could be within the same relationship as well. So if the choice is to not over intellectualize it, but to accept, you know, a different financial expectation, then, you know, you could see a renewal with the Ace of Cups within the relationship that you're already in. What else can we say? So trust your relationships. Not everyone's out to get you. That was the message. So if you feel like someone's trying to take advantage of you materially, then it's trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Put shields up to protect that Four of Pentacles, like to be frugal, to be stable, to have stable finances, and to be cautious. But, you know, don't overdo it. Like, allow what is necessary and what is needed from a financial standpoint to spend or to purchase or to buy it. You know, where you're collecting those resources, have it just communicate it clearly and honestly with the expectation that somebody is going to listen to what you say and respect what you say. So if you need to itemize your bills, if you need to like itemize how things are getting spent and just look at it from an intellectual perspective, because that's the hopes and fears. It's not that we're afraid of being overly intellectual to the point of saying that I'm going to leave this leave this environment and leave this relationship because, you know, there is some type of financial limitation. Or on the other hand, you know, is just lay it out intellectually and don't let that impact the emotional aspect or the potential, because we do have this Ace of Pentacles. So there is a potential that with adequate planning, there could be, you know, you could get into this space for the Six of Pentacles to be able to give and take and to have reciprocity. But I guess it's about how you approach the situation and whether or not, you know, you're willing or able to come at it from a balanced intellectual approach and not overly cold and calculated and mistrusting. So it's a great deal to do with trust, but do stand up for what you believe in. Your strength is by your convictions. So it's not giving in or backing down. You're standing your ground. But you need to be clear with what your expectations are. It's okay to itemize everything and to be cautious and careful with your spending. So maybe it is that activation of divine feminine, because you need to feel safe, and the Empress needs to, you know, that tending to a garden requires that being in touch and moving with the pulse of the land. So there was, you know, once you have that measured approach financially, then you can have a plan for when to spend, when to save, and you can do that potentially as a unit. So I don't really see one way or another in this reading as to which way you go. I think this reading is for people that could go either way. This is just the situation that I'm seeing at the moment. But there is only one cup in this reading. So with that being the potential outcome, you know, there's a chance for it to blossom. So it really depends if you're in touch with your intuition and sensitivity and what that tells you and how that guides you, how your body guides you to make this call, to make this decision. And you'll know that within your body. All right, Aries, thank you very much. I think that wraps up the reading for today. If you would like to be in touch for a personal reading, I'll do tarot one-on-one via Zoom, or I can do pre-recorded if that's a preference. I'm in the Southern Hemisphere, so sometimes time zones can be a bit of a challenge. I do human design readings as well, so I analyze the charts and do charts. I can do partnership readings as well if you have two charts that you want to read and how they actually connect together and how the energy is working together between two people. That's available on my website, which is sunbakerstudio.com.au, I believe. And I'm Natalie Moss. This has been a pleasure to read for you, Aries, and see you next time. Goodbye.